Ember's Braveheart. Ember was a very small dragon who lived on Emberstone Mountain. He loved to watch the big dragon soar high in the sky, doing tricks and breathing mighty flames. He wanted to be strong and powerful, just like them. But Ember's wings were small, and they couldn't carry him very high. "Flap harder," the other dragons would bellow. Ember tried with all his might, but he always ended up tumbling onto the soft grass with a bump. One day, while walking sadly through the forest, he heard a tiny cry. Near a tall tree, a little squirrel had gotten stuck on a branch, too scared to climb down. "Help!" squeaked the little squirrel. Ember didn't think twice. He didn't need to fly to help. Very carefully, he used his small, warm breath to gently warm the branch. The warmth was comforting, not scary, and it made the squirrel feel a little bit braver. "Thank you," chattered the squirrel, once he was safely on the ground. "You're very brave." Ember felt happy. He hadn't flown, but his heart felt big and warm. The next day, a fierce windstorm blew across the mountain. A family of bluebirds was in their nest on a branch that was swaying dangerously. The nest was about to fall. Ember couldn't fly up there in such a strong wind, but he saw the branch was about to snap. He ran to the tree and hugged the trunk with all his might to keep it from shaking so much. When the storm passed, the mother bird flew down to Ember. "You saved my babies," she chirped. "Your heart is stronger than any wind." Ember began to understand. He helped a turtle who had flipped onto its back and used his warm breath to melt the frost so the early spring flowers could grow. He didn't need to fly high to be strong. The big dragon saw him and realized that Ember had a different kind of strength, a strength that came from his big heart. And Ember knew that being brave and kind was the greatest strength of all. Sophia's magic flashlight. Every night, when the house fell silent, Sophia would turn on her flashlight. It wasn't because she was afraid of the dark. It was because, for her, the darkness was the beginning of the greatest magic. First, she would play at making shadows with her hands. A dog that barked without a sound, a butterfly that fluttered on the wall, and a bird that flew up to the ceiling. But that was just the warm-up. Then, she would point the light at her favorite stuffed animal, a bunny with long ears. The rabbit's shadow on the wall would stretch, grow, and suddenly, it would hop right off the wall. "Hello, Sparky," Sophia would say. Sparky, the shadow bunny, scurried around the room like a happy patch of darkness. He invited Sophia to play. "Let's go to the shadow jungle," he whispered in a voice that sounded like the rustling of dry leaves. With the flashlight in her hand, Sophia followed Sparky out of her room. The shadows in the hallway were no longer just shadows. They became tall, slender trees that swayed, and the carpet felt like soft moss under her feet. In the living room, the big armchair cast a huge shadow. It was no longer an armchair, but a gentle giant named Rumble. He purred softly as he slept, and his shadowy breath made the leaves of the shadow trees tremble. Sparky quickly climbed up Rumble's side and whispered something in his shadow ear. The giant creature woke up with a yawn that felt like a gentle breeze. He smiled at Sophia. Rumble lowered a soft, dark hand, and Sophia climbed onto it. Together, with Sparky on the girl's shoulder, they traveled through the shadow jungle, meeting laughing shadow monkeys and singing shadow frogs. They had wonderful adventures until the first light of dawn peeked through the window. It was the signal that the magic was ending. Rumble and Sparky waved goodbye as they turned back into the shadows of the furniture. Sophia climbed back into bed, her heart full of adventures. She turned off her flashlight and closed her eyes, knowing that the next night, her friends from the shadow world would be waiting for her. Kitty who didn't need to roar. In a cozy little house lived a tiny kitten named Pipkin. He was very curious and loved to explore. Every day, he watched the big animals outside and wished he could be as brave as them. Pipkin saw a big dog barking loudly. "Woof! Woof!" went the dog. "That's how brave animals sound," thought Pipkin. He tried to bark, "Mew! Mew!" It didn't sound brave at all. Then he saw a mighty lion on TV, letting out a huge roar. R-R-O-O-A-A-R-R. Pipkin puffed out his chest and tried to roar too. Meow, he squeaked, still not brave enough. Pipkin felt a little sad. He wanted to be brave, but he just couldn't make a big, scary sound. He wandered into the garden, his tail drooping. High up in an old oak tree, a wise old owl named Barnaby watched him. Barnaby had seen many things and knew that bravery wasn't always about making noise. Suddenly, Pipkin heard a tiny, distressed chirp, chirp, chirp. It was coming from a thorny bush. He carefully pushed his way through the leaves. Inside, a little bird named Rosie was tangled in some vines, her wing caught. She was scared and couldn't fly. Pipkin knew he couldn't roar, but he also knew Rosie needed help. He gently nudged the vines with his nose, and then carefully used his tiny paws to untangle them, one by one. It took a little while, but soon Rosie was free. She shook her feathers and chirped happily. "Thank you, Pipkin," she sang, flying up to a branch. Barnaby hooted softly from his tree. Pipkin realized he hadn't roared, but he had been brave. Bravery, he learned, was helping others and doing what was right, even when you were small. Mateo and the Realm of Forgotten Toys. Mateo was a little bored. He looked out the window, but there was no one to play with. Maybe there's something interesting in the attic, he thought. He climbed the creaky stairs, dust dancing in the sunbeams that peeked through a small window. The attic was full of old boxes and forgotten treasures. In a dark corner, something glowed faintly. Mateo approached curiously and found a small, almost invisible door covered in cobwebs. He pushed the door, and it opened with a soft creak. On the other side, there was no more attic, but a place filled with light and vibrant colors. It was the realm of forgotten toys. There were all kinds of toys, but many looked a little sad. A teddy bear with a torn eye sighed. "No one plays with us anymore," he said in a soft voice. Mateo sat down next to the teddy bear. "Don't worry," he said. "I'm here now. What's your name?" The teddy bear smiled a little. "I'm Barnaby," he replied. Barnaby introduced Mateo to his friends. A brave wooden soldier named Captain Oak and an elegant porcelain doll named Luna. They were all thrilled to have a visitor. Mateo spent the afternoon playing with them. They built castles with blocks, raced toy cars, and told funny stories. Laughter filled the realm of forgotten toys. As the sun began to set, Mateo knew it was time to leave. "I'll be back," he promised. "You'll never feel forgotten again." The toys waved goodbye with joy. Mateo returned home, his heart full of the magic of his new friends. He knew the attic was no longer just a place of old things, but a doorway to a world of friendship and joy. The Night Dream Express. Ilara couldn't sleep. She tossed and turned, her mind buzzing with all the adventures she wished she could have. She sighed and looked out her window at the quiet, starry night. Suddenly, a soft, golden light appeared in the distance. It grew brighter and closer until, with a gentle hiss of steam, a magnificent train pulled up right outside her window. Its windows glowed with a warm, inviting light. A friendly face with a kind smile, wearing a conductor's hat, peeked from the train door. "All aboard for the Night Dream Express," he whispered. Ilara, filled with excitement, didn't hesitate. Inside, the carriage was cozy and filled with other children, all looking just as amazed as Ilara. Soft music played, and the seats felt like fluffy clouds. Everyone was buzzing with quiet anticipation. With a gentle lurch, the train began to move. It didn't roll on tracks, but floated up into the starry sky, leaving the town far below. Swirling colors and sparkling stardust danced outside the windows. "Welcome, dreamers," announced the conductor Bartholomew with a twinkle in his eye. "We're heading to the realm of wildest dreams. where anything you imagine comes true." He gestured to the magical landscape outside. Soon, the train pulled into a station made of shimmering moonlight and candy floss clouds. Children began to disembark, each stepping into their own unique, fantastical dreamscape. Alara stepped off, and with a whoosh, she found herself soaring through the air. She was flying, just like she always dreamed, above a landscape of marshmallow mountains and rivers of sparkling lemonade. She laughed with pure delight, doing loops and dives, feeling the wind in her hair. She flew past friendly, giggling dragons and raced with swift, feathered creatures, completely free and happy. As the first rays of dawn touched her window, Ilara slowly opened her eyes. She was back in her bed, but a soft glow lingered in the room. She smiled, knowing the Night Dream Express would return, ready for her next adventure. Miguel's super secret mission. Miguel wrinkled his nose. "Mom, why are there so many trash cans? There's a blue one, a green one, and a yellow one." He was helping take out the trash, and it all seemed very confusing. His mom smiled. "They aren't just trash cans, Miguel. They're like magic houses for things that can have a new life. It's called recycling, and it's a super secret mission to help our planet. The blue bin is for paper and cardboard," she explained. "Your old drawings or cereal boxes can travel from here and become a brand new notebook or a storybook. The yellow one is home to plastic containers and glass bottles. After a magic trip, that juice bottle could turn into a fun toy or even a slide at the park. And the green bin is for leftover food, like banana peels," his mom said. "They become superfood to help plants and trees grow big and strong." "Wow," Miguel exclaimed. "So it's not trash, it's hidden treasure." Suddenly, sorting things felt like a very important game. "I'm a planet protector." The next day at the park, Miguel saw a plastic bottle lying on the grass. A treasure outside its house, he thought. He carefully picked it up and took it to the park's yellow recycling bin. His friend Lily saw him. "What are you doing, Miguel?" He explained the secret of the magic houses for trash and his mission to be a planet protector. Lily loved the idea. Together, the two friends looked for more lost treasures around the park and put them in their proper homes. The park looked cleaner and brighter than ever. Miguel felt very happy. He understood that taking care of the planet was like taking care of his own home. And it all started with a simple game, putting each treasure in its place so the recycling magic could begin. Martine the Air Hero. Martine was ready for an adventure. "Dad, can we go to the park, please?" he asked, pulling on his favorite red jacket. "I want to play on the big slide." "Of course," said his dad. He picked up the car keys, but then he stopped. He looked at Martin's shiny blue bicycle, parked by the door. "Wait a minute," he said with a twinkle in his eye. "I have a better idea. Let's go on a mission to help the planet." "A mission?" Martine asked, his eyes wide. "How?" His dad pointed to the bicycle. "Our bikes don't need gasoline like the car. They run on pedal power, and that's a secret superpower." As they put on their helmets, Dad explained, "When we drive the car, it makes invisible smoke that goes into the air. It's called pollution, and it makes the air yucky for us, the birds, and the trees." "Yucky air?" Martine said, wrinkling his nose. "That's no good." "Exactly," said his dad, "but our bikes don't make any smoke at all. When we ride, we help keep the air clean and fresh. We're air heroes." "An air hero? I like that," Martine shouted. He pushed off and started to pedal. Whiz! He could feel the cool wind on his face and hear the birds singing in the trees. It was much more fun than being inside the car. They rode past colorful houses and pretty gardens. Martine waved to a neighbor, watering her flowers. He could smell the sweet scent of the roses. "The air smells so nice," he called to his dad. "That's because we're helping to keep it clean," his dad called back, smiling. Martine pedaled faster, imagining he was a superhero with a cape made of wind. chasing all the yucky smoke away. When they arrived at the park, Martine felt strong and proud. "We did it, Dad. We got here with our pedal power, and we made the air happy." As he ran towards the slide, Martine took a big, deep breath of fresh, clean air. Being an air hero was the best mission ever, and he knew that every time he chose his bike, he was helping to take care of his wonderful planet. Raoul's gift of life. Raoul sat on the grass, looking at his favorite toy bird. One of its little wooden wings was broken. "You can't fly anymore," he whispered sadly. His grandma came and sat beside him. "What's wrong, my little star?" she asked softly. Raoul showed her the broken bird. "Don't worry," she said with a warm smile. "I know something we can do to help a different kind of bird fly one day." Grandma opened her hand. In her palm was a tiny smooth seed. "What's that?" Raoul asked, leaning closer. "This," she said, "is a promise. It's a baby tree fast asleep." "A baby tree?" Raoul's eyes grew wide. "Yes," said Grandma, "and we're going to give it a home." She picked up a small shovel and a watering can. "Come with me." In a sunny spot in the garden, Grandma helped Raoul dig a little hole in the soft, dark earth. "Every new life needs a cozy bed to start in," she explained. Raoul took the seed and placed it gently in the hole. He covered it with soil, patting it down like he was tucking it into bed. "Is it okay in there?" he asked. "It's perfect," said Grandma. "Now, it's thirsty." She helped Raoul tip the watering can, and a little shower of water fell onto the soil. The water tells the seed it's time to wake up and grow. Looking at the small patch of wet earth, Raoul asked, "Will it be a big tree tomorrow?" Grandma chuckled. "It will grow slowly, a little bit every day, just like you. The sun will give it food and help it stretch towards the sky. And when it's big," she continued, "real birds will build their nests in its branches. It will give us shade on hot days and clean the air we breathe. When you plant a tree, you are giving a gift of life to the whole world." Raoul looked at the spot where his seed was sleeping. He wasn't just sad about his toy bird anymore. He felt happy and proud. He had planted a new home for future birds. He had given the world a new life. The night the stars woke up, Lily sat on the floor, surrounded by glowing screens and bright lights. The television chattered, a tablet blinked, and every lamp was on. But even with all the noise and light, Lily felt a little bit bored. "I have an idea," said her dad, seeing her sigh. "How about we go on a special night adventure?" Lily looked up, curious. "An adventure?" Mom heard them and smiled. "That sounds like a wonderful idea." Together, they went through the house, turning everything off. Click went the TV, click went the tablet, click, click, click went the lights, until the whole house was quiet and dark. Dad opened the back door. "Ready?" he whispered. Lily stepped outside into the garden. It was much darker than she was used to, and for a moment, she couldn't see anything at all. "Just wait a moment," said her mom softly, and look up. Lily tipped her head back. As her eyes got used to the dark, she gasped. The sky, which was usually just black, was filled with millions of tiny, twinkling lights. "Wow," she whispered. Dad spread a big, soft blanket on the grass. "Come on, stargazers," he said. They all lay down, side by side, their faces turned up to the sparkling sky. Lily snuggled between them. "There are so many stars," she said. "I never see them like this from my window." "That's because all our lights inside make it hard to see them," Dad explained. "The starlight travels a very, very long way to reach us. When we turn off our lights, we give the stars a chance to shine. And when we turn off our lights, we also save energy," added Mom. "Using less electricity helps keep our planet healthy and strong. It's a small thing we can do that makes a big difference for the Earth." Lily looked from the bright stars to her parents' smiling faces. Saving energy didn't just help the Earth. It had let her see this beautiful secret show in the sky. She decided that turning off the lights was her new favorite superpower. The Wonderful Journey of Drip the Water Drop. Meet Drip. He was a tiny, happy water drop. He lived with all his brothers and sisters in a big, splashy puddle. They loved to wiggle and jiggle and play all day long. One morning, the big, warm sun peeked out. It smiled down on the puddle. "Ooh," said Drip, feeling a strange tickle. "I feel so light." He felt himself starting to float up, up, up. "Whee!" giggled Drip as he drifted higher and higher into the big blue sky. He was lighter than a feather. He waved goodbye to the world far below. He was on an adventure. High in the sky, Drip found lots of other water drops who were floating too. "Hello," they all said. They held hands and snuggled close together, making a soft, fluffy white cloud. More and more water drops joined their party. The cloud grew bigger and bigger, and a little bit gray. "It's getting crowded in here," Drip said, as he was gently squished between two new friends. Soon, the cloud was too full and heavy to float anymore. "Whoops!" it wobbled. "Here we go," shouted Drip, and he began to fall, down, 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 back toward the green earth below. He was a raindrop. Drip landed gently on the petal of a thirsty red flower. "Ah, thank you," whispered the flower, taking a long, cool drink. Drip felt very proud that he could help the flower feel better. Then, Drip rolled off the flower petal and plink. He landed in a little stream that was trickling through the grass. "Come on," the stream bubbled. "We have places to go and things to see." The stream flowed into a big river. As Drip rushed along, he saw thirsty deer drinking from the bank and tall trees growing strong. "Wow," thought Drip, "every single drop is so important for everyone." Drip's journey continued in the big, wide river. He knew that soon the sun would smile down again, and his amazing adventure through the sky would start all over, and he couldn't wait.